What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Sarah's Travel Tech Life. I'm going to talk to you about the trip that I took last year to Budapest. Here are the best and worst things that I did in Budapest. If you've never been to Budapest, it is a beautiful city in Hungary, and it's a great location for a weekend, a hen party, or even a longer trip. I went in September of last year for a friend's bachelorette party. One of the best things I did in Budapest, we got an Airbnb, and I really thought that this was such a great opportunity for us to save on accommodation, but also it really gave me an understanding for the way that people live in that city. There was a big gated entrance with a keypad that was fidgety to open. There was this internal courtyard that was absolutely beautiful, but also a little run down. I would definitely recommend staying in an Airbnb when you go to Budapest and not staying at a hotel, because it did feel like I was immersed in the experience. The second best thing that I did while in Budapest was to visit some of the beautiful churches and cathedrals in the city. This one in particular is a beautiful view over the city, and we did that as one of our first activities. The third best thing that we did in Budapest was to go on a pub crawl, and this was both good and not so good. We went on this pub crawl. You meet at the initial location, and at that location you have a welcome shot, which is not appealing unless you're 18 years old and you like things that taste like licorice or lemonade. The first location that we went to was way further of a walk than any of us anticipated. I had heels on. It probably took about 15 minutes for us to walk. Then we get to this karaoke bar, and Budapest is, if you love karaoke, this is the place for you. I needed like the biggest drink, the fattest drink humanly possible, because it was absolutely like diabolical. When you go up to do your song, the DJ will basically drown out your microphone because you can't sing. So our group was completely drowned out. We were all screaming into the microphone. It was ridiculous. So didn't love the karaoke experience. Now, we left there and we went to a bar that was really good. So this bar was one of those where they light the bar on fire, and it was spectacular. There were other bachelorette parties there. There was a vibe. There was great music. The bar then gets lit on fire. They invite you up onto the bar to dance. So we did that. We had the best time. So going on a pub crawl in Budapest, good, but also can go very wrong. One out of the 4 bars we went to was fun, and the other ones were tourist traps. I would definitely recommend going on your own journey around Budapest and figuring out what you want to enjoy. The fourth amazing thing in Budapest, the brunch vibe, the pastries, the cafes, absolutely spectacular. We went to a brunch place after our night out, and it was full of aesthetically pleasing platters with pancakes, bacon, eggs, croissants, fruit. It was amazing, and it was this tiny little place, super Instagrammable, and it was our second choice. We did not have not one bad meal that entire time, and regardless of what you do while in Budapest, you must brunch. There was a really cool experience that I've never seen anywhere else, but it probably does exist, and it's called a Forever Bracelet experience. And I went over to this area and I got a Forever Bracelet. You can see that it is welded onto your wrist, so it literally does not come off. It's like high grade material, so it doesn't rust. It's not miscolored at all, and you get to choose a little charm. So I chose this little, kind of looks like a dream catcher type charm. I have to say, you put these glasses on. While they're welding together your bracelet, they ask you to make a wish. And I was really loving the whole thing. I thought that it was a really cool experience. It was one of the best things that I did while I was in Budapest, and I absolutely loved it. Now I'm on to my best thing that we did in Budapest, which everyone does in Budapest, but I can't tell you enough how cool it is. The river cruise that you can take in Budapest past its palace, past all of the beautiful parliament buildings, the architecture, doing it at sunset. It was gorgeous. Everyone who's ever seen footage from Budapest has seen the palace lit up at night along the river. And this cruise came with a couple of drinks, and it wasn't a very long cruise. I would 1000% recommend. So those are the best things that I did in Budapest, 6 of them actually. Now let's go on to the worst things. Backing it up a little bit to the beginning of the trip, do not book one of those Basilica tours where you have to take 1,000 steps up to the top to see the view after you've been hungover. I arrived in Budapest from Ibiza, and I was on a perpetual hangover train. I could tell that other people in the group did not want to climb the stairs. I also did not want to climb the stairs. It was one of the worst things, the sheer effort it took to get up to the top of the church to see the view. I feel like there are probably a million people in that situation where they go out the night before and then they want to do something cool and touristy and walk around and get their steps in. The other thing that wasn't so great was the cab situation. It felt like the city was a little too small to take cabs everywhere, but also too spread out to walk. So it was this weird middle ground where you're paying for a cab to take you to just past a walking distance. The worst thing that I did while I was in Budapest was going to the spa. So this is not a spa. This was a public pool, outdoor pools, indoor pools, saunas. Don't get me wrong, it had spa vibes, but ultimately it was a public pool. The hygiene was bad. The towel situation was bad. The women's changing rooms were bad. There was a dirty Band-Aid in the pool. There was hair everywhere. The water had little floating bits in it. It was disgusting. I regretted going there. I felt disgusting afterwards. I thought that we would have a relaxing time, and I just found it was more stressful than relaxing, for sure. So yeah, great things, food, experiences, with architecture, but also you have to pay good money to go to the good spas, the size of the city, like some of the things that I experienced while we were there was just not it. So those are the best things and worst things that I did in Budapest. I hope that was helpful, and I will see you next time on Travel with Sarah.